Welcome to The Eye Opener. I'm your host, Michael Lewis. You may think Facebook is censoring enough, but the Biden administration doesn't think so. Biden blames the social media platform for not doing enough to remove alleged COVID misinformation. Amid the migrant surge, a Texas judge ruled the Obama-era policy, DACA, is illegal. On Saturday, over 100,000 people in France protested against Macron's COVID health pass. In light of voting irregularities announced last week, a Wisconsin lawmaker is pushing for a forensic examination of the state's 2020 election. Okay, my friends, let's take a closer look together. To start the week off, we have the White House blaming Facebook for not doing enough to suppress, quote, COVID misinformation on its platform. The social media giant immediately pushed back. One of its officials replied that the administration is looking for scapegoats after it missed its vaccination goal. But are things that simple? And what is this misinformation? No one ever says. Last Thursday, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki revealed how invasive and bossy the Biden administration has been in its relationship with Facebook.
In terms of actions, Alex, that we have taken, or we're working to take, I should say, from the federal government, we've increased disinformation research and tracking within the Surgeon General's office. We're flagging problematic posts for Facebook that spread disinformation.
Psaki also claimed there are 12 people producing 65% of anti-vaccine misinformation on social media. But she didn't give any of the names, and all of them are still on Facebook. The implicit message is the White House wants all of them canceled. Psaki claimed Facebook is too slow at removing harmful content. Apparently, it takes days to cancel those posts, and this is not acceptable to the White House. Information goes viral much more quickly than that. So in response to Facebook's sloppy performance in censoring COVID misinformation, the Biden administration is lobbying the company to proactively promote, quote, trusted content and quality information approved by the government. To their disappointment, Facebook isn't keen on this idea either, at least for now.
And Facebook needs to move more quickly to remove harmful violative posts. Posts that will be within their policies for removal often remain up for days. That's too long. The information spreads too quickly. Finally, we have proposed they promote quality information sources in their feed algorithm. Facebook has repeatedly shown that they have the leverage to promote quality information. We've seen them effectively do this in their algorithm over low quality information, and they've chosen not to use it in this case, and that's certainly an area that would have an impact. So these are certainly the proposals. We engage with them regularly, and they certainly understand what our asks are.
So in the press briefing, Psaki said the government has a dedicated workforce that promptly flags posts on Facebook. The administration wants all 12 of those responsible for spreading anti-vaccine information deplatformed. And finally, it wants Facebook to remove certain posts quickly and boost content recommended by the White House. At least on the vaccination front, the Biden administration is transforming Facebook into its propaganda agency. On Friday, Biden dropped a comment about so-called COVID misinformation shared on platforms such as Facebook. He said,
killing people. I mean, it really, look, the only pandemic we have is among the unvaccinated.
The White House is increasingly critical of the social media giant. Facebook felt wronged, and on the same day, a Facebook official issued a statement to NBC taking aim at the Biden administration. The official said they're not to be distracted by accusations which aren't supported by the facts. So what are the facts? According to Facebook, and I quote, the fact is that more than 2 billion people have viewed authoritative information about COVID-19 and vaccines on Facebook, which is more than any other place on the internet. More than 3.3 million Americans have also used our vaccine finder tool. The facts show that Facebook is helping save lives, period. The White House is looking for scapegoats for missing their vaccine goals. And who decides what information is correct? Information at odds with the left's narrative means that they destroy lives? The degree that people follow medical advice has something to do with trust. People trust data. People trust scientific evidence. If a statement is not backed by data and science, it's not credible. Some advice for the Biden administration would be to give recommendations that are based on evidence. If we don't have enough data to prove the effectiveness of vaccines against a new variant, to prove the benefit of vaccinating outweighs the risk for young adults and children, we should wait. However, the current administration is interested in more censorship and manipulating the information. In the wake of the White House's shocking pronouncement, America First Legal filed a flurry of freedom of information requests to learn more about how the administration coordinates with big tech. First Legal, run by former Trump-era officials, has reached out to the Department of Health and Human Services, the CDC, the FDA, and NIH for information. Former Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker said what the White House has revealed is a clear violation of First Amendment rights. The government has no ability to suppress speech. When Whitaker was in the DOJ, he said he did not see the type of coordination Americans are witnessing now. While White House's vaccine statements have caused great concern, if the FOIA requests are successful, they could be used to support a class action lawsuit against big tech filed by the former president. The lawsuit is also a part of a larger push to reform Section 230, a controversial law that protects internet companies from moderating user-generated content. Last week has also seen some positive development in this regard. A little-known civil rights case that threatens tech companies' Section 230 immunity made a big advancement. The appeals court rarely reviews a lower court's decision. However, on July 16th, the Second Circuit Court of Appeals in New York agreed to look at the district court's ruling on Doman versus Vimeo. Video hosting company Vimeo was sued for terminating Church United's video streaming activities. The nonprofit was banned after it featured videos of 5 men and women who left the gay lifestyle to pursue their Christian faith. The district court had previously ruled Vimeo was exempt from the civil liability under Section 230, and a 3-judge panel of the Second Circuit upheld that decision. However, the panel's ruling will now be reheard before the entire Second Circuit of 10 active judges and 13 semi-retired senior judges. Robert Tyler, whose law firm represents the plaintiff and Church United, said they suspect the appeals court recognized that big tech is not exempt from state and federal civil rights laws. Tyler said Section 230 was not intended to give big tech the right to exclude persons from their platform just because the customer is black, Muslim, white Christian, homosexual, or formerly homosexual. That's plain invidious discrimination. Tyler's firm made a public statement Friday saying the court's decision is even more remarkable given the Second Circuit's notable reputation for shunning reviews of decisions. On the same day, a Texas federal judge outlawed the deferred action for childhood arrivals known as DACA. The ruling says the Obama-era policy is unlawful and blocked new applications from being filed. In June 2012, President Obama created DACA by an executive order. The program shielded illegal immigrants brought to the United States by their parents from being deported. Since then, DACA has granted amnesty to about 800,000 individuals who are otherwise illegal aliens. District Judge Andrew Hannon argued Congress never issued government deportation reprieves for illegals. Hannon deemed Homeland Security violated the law. The order states the department must stop approving new DACA applications while current DACA recipients aren't affected. During the 2016 presidential campaign, Trump correctly described the policy giving the president far more power than expected or warranted. It should be the responsibility of Congress, not the president, to establish who can or cannot enter the country. However, the real problem with DACA is the message it sends to people around the world who give anything to come to the United States. If you manage to get here by whatever means, there is a good chance you'll be able to stay. In 1986, the Immigration Reform and Control Act granted amnesty to 2.7 million people in the country. What happened next was the greatest wave of illegal immigration in U.S. history. And since the start of DACA, we've also seen unprecedented waves of illegal minors, many unaccompanied, making the dangerous trip to the border. President Trump was criticized in 2017 by Democrats and mainstream media for trying to end DACA. However, if they really cared about the children, they should be talking about the humanitarian crisis at the border now, because tens of thousands of children are being physically abused each month trying to come here. On Saturday, Biden condemned the new ruling. The Justice Department is expected to step in and issue an appeal. Biden said the ball is in the Congress's court to install a permanent solution for young people to become citizens. By young people, Biden means illegal minors. And a permanent solution is the American Dream and Promise Act, which would provide a legal path to citizenship for youth illegally in the country. These are all very wrong messages that would make the border situation even worse. The 190,000 illegal crossings in June are less concerning than the repeal of DACA. Once again, the Biden administration made it clear that it wants more immigrants regardless of the crisis they create at the border. And coming up, we will discuss France issuing mandatory health passes. And we'll have updates on 2 election audits, Wisconsin and Maricopa County. But before we continue, I want to take a quick second to ask all my friends watching and the live chat family to please take a moment to hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, but most importantly, share this video. I'm depending on you, my friends, and the power of word of mouth to spread the truth. We cannot depend on YouTube to do this. Also, to support the Eye Opener team, please donate to the show or purchase a mug that matters. You can find the link in the description below, and your support, as always, is greatly appreciated. Salute. On Saturday, over 100,000 people in France took to the streets protesting the government's latest push to get people vaccinated. On July 12, French President Emmanuel Macron announced that vaccines are mandatory for all healthcare workers, and anyone in France going to public space, including cafes, restaurants, and cinemas, must show a COVID-19 health pass. Only people who are fully vaccinated or recently tested negative will be allowed to enter these venues starting on August 1st. Macron said the government will extend the health pass as much as possible to push as many people to get vaccinated. About 53% of the French population has had at least a single dose, and 41% are fully vaccinated. Since Macron's announcements, vaccinations have spiked after a slowdown in recent weeks. The sentiment of anti-vaccination and anti-government overreach also spiked. Outside of the Louvre, protesters chanted, "Macron, clear off," and "freedom." In Marseille, protesters held a banner depicting politicians, including Macron, with Hitler mustaches. The French word for dictatorship was trending on Twitter. There were 130 protests across the country. Now, let's look at some news on the audits. Democrats and Maricopa County have repeatedly argued that the firms conducting the Arizona audit are not certified. The county claimed that the Election Administration Commission, the EAC, did not approve the audit firm's pick by the Senate. However, a spokeswoman for EAC recently told the Epoch Times that the agency does not certify or accredit auditors. What it does certify is voting systems, the voting machines. Senate President Karen Fann reached out to the FEC for a list of certified election auditors, but was told there's no such list. Fann said the county's Board of Supervisors is being coy with the public. The companies they hired for the previous 2 so-called audits are only authorized to certify the machines. Cyber Ninjas, the lead auditor in the Arizona audit, described itself as a cybersecurity company with a focus on application security and ethical hacking. It says it has extensive experience working with Dominion voting systems. Its partners have experience in digital forensic acquisition and ballot hand counting procedures. Fann said Cyber Ninja's CEO's name, Doug Logan, came up when she and other senators were researching the auditors. At the time, Logan was working on election-related matters in Antrim County, Michigan, and Fulton County, Georgia. He confirmed with the Senate everything they heard from the referrals and said he's able to build a team of experts and experienced firms to perform various phases of the audit. However, Logan was criticized by audit opponents for some of his tweets prior to the Arizona audit. Logan shared a Twitter post that said that Republicans rightfully believe their votes were stolen and claimed there were parallels between the Venezuela's elections and the 2020 election in the United States. Audit liaison Ken Bennett's response: if they are questioned about the tweets or Logan's opinion on the election, he'll intervene and make clear the auditor's role is only about procedures and the counting of ballots. They aren't there to audit anybody's opinion, but the ballots and everything related to the Maricopa elections. In Wisconsin, voting discrepancies in Arizona and Georgia prompted state lawmaker Timothy Ramthun to call to expand the review to a full forensic audit. Ramthun leads the review effort on behalf of the Wisconsin Assembly, a group of retired police officers, and the Legislative Audit Bureau. Last week, Voter GA uncovered significant irregularities in the 2020 hand count audit in Fulton County, Georgia. At a hearing on Thursday, Cyber Ninjas reported major concerns involving some 100,000 ballots in Arizona. Ramthun felt the issues weren't limited to the two states. He's requested a more comprehensive audit for the 5th Congressional District, checking for double counting and examining voting machines for equipment tampering. Ramthun called on all lawmakers in Wisconsin to acknowledge the evidence put forth in Arizona and Georgia, and said everyone should benefit from the audit in the state. Wisconsin Republicans control both chambers of the state legislature, while Democrats control the governor's office. Biden won the state by a little more than 20,000 votes. In a November recount, Biden got dozen more votes than Trump. However, the former president claimed the Wisconsin recount was not about finding mistakes in the count, but finding illegal votes. And that's it for today, my friends. Check out this playlist right here for more eye-opening content. You can join me in the Eye Opener Telegram chat room and follow me on Newmaker, Gab, Parler, and Getter. Don't forget, please sign up to the email list so that we can stay in touch. I'd like to thank you all, and I'll see you next time.